So, Srila Prabhupada is making an important point because hearing the Krishna Katha is a Shravanam, and Shravanam is the beginning of devotional service. Only an animal or a man who is almost an animal in behavior can refuse to take an interest in hearing the transcendental message of the Lord. There are many books of histories in the world, but except for the histories and narration on the topic of personal Godhead, none are capable of diminishing the burden of the material pangs. Therefore, one who is serious about eliminating material existence must chant and hear of the transcendental activities of personality Godhead, otherwise, one must be compared to non-human. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of 3rd Canto, 13th chapter of Srimada Bhagvatam, entitled The Appearance of Lord Varadev. Bhakti is the greatest attainment for the human being, along with all goals. Knowing this, one knows the essence of everything. Persons who says that bhakti is a practice for ultimate goal, but is not itself the final result, is an animal. Say bhakti is a good practice, but is not a final goal, is an animal. Is an animal. What it means that bhakti is both the way and means. Say means and the goal. Usually jnana is the means, it's not the goal. You have to give up. But bhakti continues in practice and also in perfection. So anybody who says bhakti is only a mean, not a goal, is an animal. Purakathana means among previous events. Bhagavatam means, bhavapaham means which describe the material existence. There is one verse in 3rd Canto, 28th chapter, which says even the great yogis, they come to the highest stage of bhakti. Unfortunate is yogis who has developed love for Lord, full of all sweet qualities, whose heart is somewhat soft because of devotion, whose body hairs stand on end in the ecstasy, who is constantly overcome with the intense tears of joy, gradually withdraw his hook-like mind from the Lord's form. He is most unfortunate. Now we are going to the next chapter. Is it okay? So the next chapter, the pregnancy of Diti in the evening. And this is the summary of this chapter by Vishwanath Chakravarti Pali. This is the summary by Chakravarti Pali. He writes 4 lines, but it includes everything. This is the summary. The 14th chapter describes how Diti approached her husband, who was not inclined in the evening. She then repented. Evil sons and pious grandchild were born. So these are the subject matter in this chapter. So the first section, say verse 1 to 6, is a more inquiries by Vidur. Sri Shuka Vacha Nishmaya Kaushavari. Kaushavari is Maitreya. Koshavarena Upavranitam he has described. Hare Katham Karan Sukra Atmanaha, about the pastime of Lord Varadev. Punah sa prapachatam Udyat Anjali. Again Vidur asked with folded hands. Na cha ati tripto Vidura Dhritta Vrataha. Vidur, who has a strong voice, was not completely satisfied. So he asked more questions. Sukdev Goswami said, after hearing from the great sage Maitreya Koshavar, because he must be in the dynasty of Kausha, something like that. About Lord's incarnation as Vara, Vidura, who had taken a vow, Dhritarashtra, begged him with folded hands to please narrate further transcendental activities of the Lord, since he, Vidura, did not yet feel satisfied. No purport. So reference that is similar verse Bhagavatam 1:19, Vayam tu na vitripyama, and in purport Srila Prabhupada said Achyuta. One would never deviate from rasa. Therefore devotees never become satisfied by hearing Krishna Katha, which is full of rasa. So this is something about the devotees like Vidura. They act as a Achyuta because they never deviate from the rasa of the Krishna Katha. Vidura Vacha Tenev to Muni Sreshta Harina Yagna Murtina Yagya Murti Adi Daito Hiranyakasho Hatta Iti Anushushram. So he says now, Vidur said, O chief among the great sages, I have heard by disciplic succession that Hiranyakash, the original demon, was slain by the same form of sacrifice, which means Yagya Swarup. The personality of Godhead, the boar. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Same thing, the two Varas are there, and in the Swayambhu Manvantar he assumed the color white, and the Chakshus Manvantar he assumed the color red. See, Prabhupada right here, red. Vidur had already heard about one of them, and he proposed to hear about the other. The two different boar incarnations described are one Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is, he says, it should be understood that in Swayambhu Manvantar, Varha lifted the earth. And in the Chakshu Manvantar, Varha killed Hiranyaksha. So this is a distinction between the two. The next verse. What was the reason, O Brahman, for the fight between the demon king and the Lord boar, while the Lord was lifting the earth as his pastime? Question. Next verse. Shardadhanaya bhaktaya bruhita janma vistaram rishena tripyati manaha param kautuhalam hi me. हरे कृष्णा बेटा, कोई है? हाँ, हरे कृष्ण, हरे कृष्णा। ठीक है, ओके, सॉरी। My mind has become very inquisitive, and therefore I am not satisfied with hearing the narration of Lord's appearance. Please, therefore, speak more and more to a devotee who is faithful. Please describe. One who is, there are two things, remember here in this purport important. One who is actually faithful and inquisitive, two things, is qualified to hear the transcendental pastime of appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vidur was suitable candidate to receive such transcendental message because he was inquisitive and because he was faithful. And this is the other thought based on Bhagavad Gita 7:15. Jnani is better than Jigyasu because they have higher purpose. When Jigyasu satisfies an inquisitiveness, he usually stops, whereas Jnani tries to deepen his realizations. Vidur is not looking simply for information, but for transformation. Spiritual curiosity is important in all stages. If we start to become spiritually curious, we may start to find devotional service monotonous and boring. One should not be only inquisitive but also submissive. By being submissive and asking questions, we can raise our second-hand faith. Somebody told me and I follow to first-class faith, independent of others' opinion and self-conviction in the practice. So better is second-hand faith, hearing from authorities. So, yes,
May I
yes,
ask one question, Prabhuji?
yes.
What is the difference between Jigyasu and Jnani?
Jigyasa means he is inquisitive to know, and Gyan means he has already known. It is known to him now. So if I am inquisitive, then when I know, then my inquiry is over. Then my eagerness is over. But Jnani is when he knows something, then he wants to realize that Vigyan. So he can advance further. So generally Jigyasu should be submissive, then some merciful person can enlighten him.
So can we say Shaunakadi Rishis are Jigyasus?
They are Jigyasu. They are Jigyasu.
Okay. And Jnani Shukamani.
Sukadev, Gowani, Kumaras, four Kumaras, they are Gyanis.
So Jnanis means the impersonalists are Jnanis?
Both are there. There are two types of Gyan. Sambandh Gyan is also for the devotees, and impersonal Gyan is not accepted in Bhakti, but the personal Gyan is accepted in Bhakti.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Like this Gyan of Bhagavad Gita is needed, but impersonal Gyan we don't need. The karma by which somebody wants to go to heaven we don't need, but the karma of deity worship we need. So therefore it says anavartam, it doesn't say sunya. Anavartam means not covered by false Gyan and false karma kand. It should be true Gyan and true activities. Okay. Verse 5. Maitreya, the great sage Maitreya said, O warrior, Veer, the inquiry made by you is just befitting a devotee because it concerns the incarnation of personality of Godhead. He is the source of liberation from the chain of birth and death for all those who are otherwise destined to die. So there is a nice purport here. Comparison of Vidur with the Kashyap. And summary of the verses, Hari Katha gives liberation. The great sage Maitreya addressed Vidur as warrior, Veer, not only because Vidur belonged to the Kuru family, but because he was anxious to hear about the chivalrous activities of Lord in his incarnation of Vara and Narsimha. Because the inquiries concerned the Lord, they were perfectly befitting a devotee. A devotee has no taste for hearing anything mundane. There are many topics of mundane warfare, but a devotee is not inclined to hear them. The topic of warfare in which the Lord engaged do not concern the war of the death, but the war against the chain of Maya, which obliges one to accept repeated birth and death. In other words, one who takes delight in hearing the war topic of the Lord is relieved from chain of birth and death. Foolish people are suspicious of Krishna's taking part in battle of Kurukshetra, not knowing that his taking part ensured liberation for all who were present on the battlefield. It is said by Bhisham Dev that all who were present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original spiritual existence after death. Therefore, hearing the war topic of Lord is as good as any other devotional service. Maybe next purport it says Vidura and Maitreya, because he is more powerful as a devotee. The next maybe purport. So here in this important thing is Srishti Leela or Ras Leela are both important for the devotee. Similarly, Krishna's pastime of war or his pastime of Vrindavan, both are transcendental. So devotee should hear both with all adoration and respect. Asking with a desire to hear about the pastime of Lord's fighting is very good, because through that question you are asking about Varaha and Narsimha. In explaining about these avatars while describing Lord's fighting, you make others successful through remembering the avatar. Now this section, next 5 to 7, Maitreya congratulate Vidura. So we are in next section. Connection with the previous verse, proof is given. The topic of Lord deliver the world. This is the proof given of the Utanpad. Yatta Utanpad Putro means Dhruva Maharaj. So this is the, by hearing this topic from sage Narada, the son of King Utanpad Dhruva, was enlightened regarding the personality of Godhead, and he ascended to the abode of the Lord, placing his feet over the head of death. So there is this story, I think you know all this. Somebody can read this purport.
While quitting his body, Maharaj Dhruva, the son of King Utanpad, was attended by personalities like Sunanda and others, who received him in the kingdom of God. He left this world at an early age as a young boy, although he had attained the throne of his father and had several children of his own. Because he was due to quit this world, death was waiting for him. He did not care for death, however, and even with his present body, he boarded a spiritual airplane and went directly to the planet of Vishnu because of his association with the great sage Narada, who had spoken to him the narration of the pastime of God.
So this is the proof that anybody who hears the pastime, he will be elevated to a higher spiritual goal. Last verse of this section. This history of the fight between Lord as a boar and the demon Hiranyaksha was heard by me in the years long ago, as it was described by foremost of the demigods Brahma, when he was questioned by the other demigods. Now, because the Maitreya heard this story, that Brahma was asked by the demigods same question. Therefore now, to come to the point when Brahma was asked by demigods, there is a need to tell the story of appearance of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Then when they terrorize everything, then the demigod will ask Brahma, how can we be saved? And then he will tell the whole story. So this is the thread of the story. Now next section, 8 to 15. Diti approached Kashyap for union. Maitreya now described the event that led to the demigod to approach Brahma. So this is the thread of this story. So Diti's approaching to the Kashyap are actually 4 or 5 prohibition for union between the husband and wife, because that leads to demonic children. That should be avoided. Diti, the daughter of Daksha, being afflicted with the sex desire, Kama, begged her husband Kashyap, the son of Marichi, to have intercourse with her in the evening in order to beget children. Prabhupada's purport is positive, and Prabhupada writes like this. Next purport. To introduce the, this is also for the two verses, leave it, go. Let's go to the next verse and then Prabhupada's purport. The sun was setting and sage was sitting in a trance. These are prohibitions. This is not a right time. Sun was setting means evening. The sage was sitting in a trance, in a meditation, offering oblation to Lord Vishnu, whose tongue is sacrificial fire. It means he was doing yajna. Now this is Prabhupada's purport. Fire is considered to be the tongue of the personality of God and Vishnu. The oblation of the grain and clarified butter offered to the fire are thus accepted by him. That is the principle of all sacrifice, of which Lord Vishnu is the master. In other words, the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu includes the satisfaction of all demigods and other living entities. Normal purport. The main point Prabhupada is giving positive, and then Diti Rovacha. And that place means evening at a place of worship. The beautiful Diti expressed her desire. O learned one, Cupid is taking his arrow and disturbing me forcefully, as the mad elephant troubled the banana tree. Now Srila Prabhupada, the beautiful Diti, seeing her husband absorbed in trance, began to speak loudly, not attempting to attract him by bodily expression, because he was in trance. His eyes were closed, so only by loud sign. She frankly said that her whole body was distressed by sex desire because of her husband's presence, just as banana tree is troubled by the mad elephant. It was not natural for her to agitate her husband when he was in trance, but she could not control her strong sexual appetite. Her sex desire was like a mad elephant, and therefore it was the prime duty of her husband to give her all protection by fulfilling her desire. Chakravarti Pad writes, attempts with body and eyes were useless, since her husband had his eyes closed. In using words, even hints, though through sound and meaning, were not enough to distract Kashyap, who was engaged in meditating on Supreme Lord. Though it was not nature of the best among women to pray for relation with men, Diti, crazed by lust, suppressed her shame and fear and spoke loudly to break his trance. This lust can be directly seen. If I am left alone, what will lust do to me? In this way, she blamed her husband to her lust. It has been done by you, Tvakrite. Why do you, the husband, not protect me when lust is afflicting me with suffering? Deenam Dnoti. Why have you suddenly given up shyness? Kashyap is asking. I am like a banana tree attacked by an elephant. If the life airs are destroyed, what is the use of shyness? So here the other thought, lust makes a person shameless and is worse than one's worst enemy. 3 reasons. Because of perpetuity, because we are many lifetimes are the victim of lust. Affect jiva life after life. Number 2, it makes itself so nicely that we don't recognize the real cause of our suffering and put blame on the external factors. 3, strategy makes ourselves to hurt ourselves by the use of our own energy instead of inserting an enemy's energy. So these are the lust makes shameless and a worst enemy. This lust is the enemy. Where is that?
Kamesha Krodesha.
Yes.
Rajoguna Sattva.
Yes, exactly. Kamesha Krodesha Rajoguna Ma Shano Ma Pap Ma. So it's the most enemy. With the E, very name is your enemy. So 11 verse Diti says, therefore you should be kind towards me by showing me completely mercy. I desire to have son and I am much distressed by seeing the opulence of my co-wives. By perform of this act you will become happy. Now this is the purport which I was suggesting. In Bhagavad Gita, sexual intercourse for begetting children is accepted as righteous. Dharma virdo bhut kamo asmi bhuteshu. Dharma virdo bhuteshu kamo asmi. Bharata Rishabha. This is in the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter. A person sexually inclined for simple sense gratification, however, is unrighteous, adharma. In Diti's appeal to her husband for sex, it was not exactly that she was afflicted by sex desire, but she desired sons. Since she had no sons, she felt poorer than her co-wives. Therefore, Kashyap was supposed to satisfy his bona fide wife. Now, see, this purport is different. Because Diti said, I want son. So, for that, the Kam is bona fide. This Chakravarti has said, I am not just afflicted with lust for enjoyment, but strongly desire a son. Let favor be completely shown to me. Yun kata. Other thought. 2 causes of envy. She was envious. A person himself or his material desire is the cause. Some person or his desires, or somebody has a big car, somebody has a big house, then somebody will become envious. Or the superior person is partial and makes others subordinate envious. So Diti was envious of co-wives. Kashyap, as all the other has son and she was not having any issue. Verse 12. A woman is honored in the world by the benediction of her husband, and a husband like you will become famous by having children, because you are meant for the expansion of living entities. Summary of the verse. I will become more famous because I will have son. You will become more famous because you will have children. You appear as your son, and it is your duty to give children. Now Prabhupada is preaching according to Rishabdev. One should not become a father, mother unless one is confident that he can beget children whom he can deliver from the cultures of birth and death. Human life is only opportunity to get out of the material scene, which is full of miseries of birth, death, old age, and every human being should be given the opportunity to take advantage of human life. And a father like Kashyap is supposed to beget good children for purpose of liberation. Chakravarti Pad writes, by your mercy I will be famous with a son. The fame of women who are greatly respected by their husband, in whom husband like you born again in the form of sons, spread throughout the world. Shruti says, Jaya Bhavati Yada Asyam Jayate Punaha. Who is born from the wife is the wife born again. Aitriya Upanishad. Actually, father come back as a son. Pitana. Now this is one of the reason. Daksho Dvayatir Vatsalaha. This is very nice verse. In days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksh, who was affectionate to his daughter, asked each of us separately whom we would prefer to select as our husband. So Diti, by her choice, selected Kashyap. Srila Prabhupada's purport. It appears from this verse that free selection of husband was allowed, but by the father, but not by free association with boys and girls. The daughters were asked separately to submit their selection of a husband who was famous for his acts and personality. The ultimate selection depends on the choice of father. Since even before marriage I was attracted to you, I could not refuse. Our father asked us. So this is the one of the cause, which is called somehow of one's choice one marries. Then this is what so called love marriage. After marriage becomes really fade, and problems are always there. So next verse. Our well-wishing father Daksh, after knowing our intention, handed over 13 of his daughters unto you. And since so, then we have all been faithful to you. Now, Srila Prabhupada just writes the psychology. Generally, daughters were too shy to express their opinion before their father. But the father would accept the daughter's intention through someone else, such as grandmothers, to whom the grandchildren had free access. King Daksh collected the opinion of his daughters and thus handed over 13 to Kashyap. Every one of Diti's sisters was a mother of children. Therefore, once she was equally faithful to the same husband, why should she remain without children? Prabhupada's purport. Last verse of Diti approaches Kashyap for union. Atme kuru kalyanam kamam kamalalochana arto upasarpanam bhuman amogham hi mahiyasi. O Lotus-eyed one, kindly bless me by fulfilling my desire. When someone is in distress, approaches a great person, his plea should never go in vain. Diti knew well that her request might be rejected because of untimely situation. But she pleaded that when there is an emergency or distressful condition, there is no consideration of time or situation. There is a question by Kashyap. How can you say that you are equal in character to me when you are attempting to break my trance in the evening for your own pleasure? Diti answered, because I am distressed, I approach you What should I do when I am presently in such distress? You who are most merciful know the scripture which says there should be no delay for person suffering. Now, Kashyap, 16, verse number 16 to 31. Kashyap's response to Diti. Iti tam veeramaarichaha कृपणां बहुभाषिणीं प्रत्याहानो नयं वाचा प्रवृद्धा anangakashmalam. Anang is a Kamdev. He has no body. His body was burned by Lord Shiva. Oh hero Vidura, this Veer actually, this purport actually I missed with the already Veer. Oh hero Vidura, Diti being thus afflicted by contamination of lust, this is what the word is there for. Kashmalam means lust, Anang means lust. Anang means lust, Kashmalam means contaminated. Contaminated with lust, and therefore poor and talkative was pacified by the son of Marichi in a suitable words. This is a comparison purport. When a man or woman is afflicted with lust of sex desire, it is to be understood as sinful contamination. Kashyap was engaged in his spiritual activities, but he did not have sufficient strength to refuse his wife, who was thus afflicted. He could have refused her with strong words expressing impossibility, but he was not as spiritually strong as Vidur. Vidur is stated here as a hero because no one is stronger in self-control than a devotee of the Lord. It appears that Kashyap was already inclined to have sexual enjoyment, but his wife, and because he was not a strong man, he tried to dissuade her only with pacifying words. So now this is addressing Vidur as a Veer indicate that Vidur was strong in dharma. So one thing Kashyap was thinking, it's against dharma, whereas Kashyap was not. Pacifying her, he spoke. He did not glance at her in anger and scold her. If he were to show artificial anger even, her affliction of lust would have disappeared in fear. Being disturbed by lust, she could not tolerate any consolatory words. Her lust simply increases. Here's the other thought. Sometime one unearth has to be used to defeat another unearth. To defeat lust, her anger should be used. The Lord made Shiva lusty after Mohini to reduce his pride, etc. So if he would have been angry, she would have been angry, and the all thought of lust must have disappeared. But he was not powerful enough. Now what Kashyap is saying, "O afflicted one, I shall forthwith gratify whatever desire is dear to you. For who else but you is the source of the three perfection of liberation, dharma, artha and kam, not moksha. Three perfection of liberation are dharma, artha and kam. For conditioned soul, wife is considered to be the source of liberation because she offers her service to the husband for his ultimate liberation. Conditioned material existence is based on sense gratification, and if someone has the good fortune to get a good wife, he is helped by a wife in all respects. If one is disturbed in his conditioned life, he becomes more and more entangled in material contamination. A faithful wife is supposed to cooperate with her husband in fulfilling all material desires so that he can then become comfortable and execute spiritual activities for the perfection of life. If, however, the husband is progress with spiritual advancement, the wife undoubtedly share in his activities, and thus both the wife and husband profit in spiritual perfection. It is essential, therefore, that girls as well as boys be trained to discharge spiritual duties, so that at the time of cooperation both will be benefited. The training of the boy is brahmacharya and the training of the girl is chastity. A faithful wife and a spiritually trained brahmachari are good combination for advancement of the human mission. So, and if some has a good fortune to get a good wife, he is helped by his wife in all respects. So what are these help? Why Kashyap was speaking for a long time? Because Kashyap spoke for a long time so that the twilight would pass. He wanted to avoid that inauspicious time. Any question by now? I think we can finish this section. No question, okay. So, verse 70-21, Kashyap glorifies his wife. As one can cross over the ocean with sea-going vessel, boat, one can cross the dangerous situation of material ocean by living with wife. Here is a purport. There are four social orders. Say Brahma, we know this four social order. Now the important thing is this cooperation is essential for the proper functioning of the institution of the four social order and four spiritual orders. This Vedic Varnashram system is generally known as caste system. A man who lives with a wife has a great responsibility in maintaining the members of the other social order. That is most important point. The brahmachari, vanprastha and sannyas. Except for grastha or the householder, everyone is supposed to engage in spiritual advancement of life. And therefore the brahmachari, vanprastha and sannyasis have very little time to earn a livelihood. They therefore collect alms from the grasthas, and thus they secure bare necessities of life and cultivate spiritual understanding. By helping others, three sections of the society cultivate spiritual values. The householder also make advance in spiritual life. Ultimately, every member of the society automatically becomes spiritually advanced and easily cross over the ocean of descent. So, grastha has to maintain other three ashrams. The householder relieves the difficulty of other ashram by giving food and other items, and in this way also surpass all difficulties. So grastha has a responsibility to maintain other three ashrams, and he is also, it is his responsibility to give birth to good children who follow the same path. So actually grastha is a creator of all ashrams and maintainer of all ashrams. Here is something. There is an allowance to associate with the opposite sex, but one has to pay for it by supporting other three ashrams. By their support, grastha advance in the same speed. One should not eat mango before the mango season, since he will get only chemicals, and similarly in the brahmachari ashram one shouldn't associate with the opposite sex, since that will spoil the character of a man. Even in the mango season one cannot enjoy them too much, since it will cause health problems and one need to pay for them. Similarly, one cannot enjoy household life unrestrictedly. One must pay for it. When we understand mutual independence of the ashram, we have natural respect for all ashram. Asuri Varna ashram, considering only by birth. Dormant Varna ashram, externally calling everybody equal, but in fact different classes exist, communist, already present. Vedic Varnashram, traditional Varnashram during Vedic time, not possible now. Daivi Varnashram, with Krishna in the center, performing duties, and most important, performing devotional service. This needs to be established. So this is another thought on this topic. Verse 19. Yam ahuratmano hi ardham shreyas kamasya manini yasyam swadhauram adyasya kumancharati vidvara. O respectful one, a wife is so helpful that she is called the better half of man's body because of her sharing in all auspicious activities. A man can move without anxiety, entrusting all responsibility to his wife. By the Vedic injection, the wife is accepted as the better half of man's body because she is supposed to be responsible for discharging half of duties of the husband. A family man has a responsibility to perform 5 kinds of sacrifice. It's called Pancha Yagna. Anybody knows what are the 5 sacrifices and why one should perform? Yes?
Is it related to the 5 kind of red that we have?
Yeah, exactly same, exactly same. What are these?
Dev and Pitra red.
Yes. देव ऋण पितृ ऋण ऋषि ऋण भूत ऋण अथति ऋण. Because we have 5 times 5 suna means murder. In every householder we kill so many living entities by brooming, by watering and all. Therefore we have to perform 5 yajna. So these 5 yajnas is mostly, this is the responsibility for every householder to do this. So Rishi Yajna for our devotees to reading Prabhupada's books. Deva Yajna is to worship the Radha, Krishna, Gaur, Nitai, Jagannath, whatever. Pitra Yajna is actually to follow the Parampara, which is our forefathers, and continue to offer even the food to the forefathers by offering to the Krishna and inviting devotees at home. Athati is always giving say respect to any uninvited guest, and Bhoot is always giving charity to the, grains to the birds, water for the birds, to the some bread for the cow and dog and something. This everybody has to do, but nobody is doing. So this is what Prabhupada is saying. Pancha Yajna in order to get relief from all kinds of unavoidable sinful reaction incurred in the course of his affairs. When a man becomes qualitatively like the cats and dogs, he forgets his duties in cultivating spiritual values, and thus he accepts the wife as a sense gratificatory agency. When the wife is accepted as sense gratificatory agency, the personal beauty of the man, personal beauty is the main consideration. And as soon as there is a break in the personal sense gratification, there is disruption or divorce. But when the husband and wife aim at a spiritual advancement by mutual cooperation, there is no consideration of personal beauty or disruption of so-called love. In the material world, there is no question of love. Marriage is usually a duty performed in mutual cooperation as directed in authoritative scripture for spiritual advancement. Therefore, marriage is essential in order to avoid the life of cats and dogs who are not meant for spiritual enlightenment. Shruti says, Ardho va yana esha patni. The wife is half of the husband. This is the Shruti mantra. Verse number.
One question.
Yes.
These Pancha Yagna, are these spiritual activities or these are like Karam Kand?
These are spiritual activities in one sense, yes. because we in our even devotees' house the insects are dying, not. So we have to do this, but we have to do it in the form of devotional action. Just I say, Rishi Yagya means reading scripture. So for us, Prabhupada's books is a Rishi Yagya. For us, the Dev Yagya is having a deity in the home, or the picture in the home. So similarly, we should always like invite some sadhus and feed them. So there is a sort of Atati Yagya. And Bhut Yagya, we should be liberal wherever there is a need for the grains for the birds, or even in Russia, people in a winter they keep some water for the birds and some grains for the birds. I have seen. They even they have a grains in the hand, and the pigeon come and sit on the hand and eat. Means this culture was even. These are all people. They left the Bharat Varsha at that time of the Parsuram and moved other side of the Indus, and they have all these Vedic traditional activities still going on. I have seen personally. So this we have to do. Is not Karam Kand. Well, sannyasi is exempted from this, but not Grastha. Brahmachari and sannyasi are exempted. Madhavendra Puri says, I am not going to do anything now because I have taken the full shelter of lotus feet of Mukunda. But for us Grastha we have to do. As the Advaitacharya is Grastha, he has done the Shraddha ceremony and invited Haridas Thakur. So we cannot become just superficially pseudo devotees that we are already liberated, so we have not to do this. No. We should perform this, but in a Vaishnava way.
Only like these activities like feeding the birds and animals, what if we get some pious credit out of it and then we have to come back again to like...
No, it's not pious credit. This is the dates which we have to be free from. This is a rin. This is a rin. It's not pious activities. It is a date which we have to be free from. They are called rin. It's not pious activities. It's in Vedic system. This is a normal household. Ladies used to go every day in the evening getting grain to the ants even. This was a common tradition, giving first roti to the cow and last to the dog was every householder's custom. But now wherever you are living there's no cow, there's no dog, or everywhere there's a dog. So ultimately, Atati Yagya means one, we have to feed at least one person. Prabhupada said, before eating, you call at the door. If anybody is hungry, then you feed them. So it's not possible in a practical world now. So what we can do is we can donate worth one person's food to place where there is a prasad distribution. So that is the way we will be free from Atati Yagya.
And in Singapore it is illegal to feed the birds and animals, so you will be like...
No, it's okay. So what you can do is, say in Vrindavan there is peacocks are fed every day at some place where so much maybe hundreds and hundreds of kilos of grains are given. So just donate some place where there is a authentic way of feeding the cows, or in our own Gaushala, just support them. That is the way we can be free from this run. Verse 20. I'm sorry because your curriculum is too compact, so I am not reading the Sanskrit word which I love to really relish the meaning of those words.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Huh?
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Keshav.
Prabhuji, yes, no problem. You can take your time. No problem. We relish. No problem.
Now again after the say 14 June, I will be traveling to different places and will be engaged in different activities. I am available till say 14 June, something maybe 2 more or 3 more sessions, 2-3 weekends, and then I will be busy again teaching and some other. So there's an analogy in this verse 20. As a fort commander very easily conquer invading plunderers, thus you, Durgapati is a commander. Thus you means the dacoits, which are the senses. By taking shelter of a wife, one can conquer the senses. So senses are the dacoits. And the fort commander is the wife, which is inconquerable in other social orders. So it says of the fort, the last defensive wall is a woman or wife. Srila Prabhupada writes, of the 4 orders of human society, student, brahmachari, this is, you know all this. Now the point is, bodily senses are considered plunderers of the fort of the body. So body is compared to the fort, senses are compared to the thieves. The wife is supposed to be the commander of the fort. And therefore, whenever there is an attack on the body by the senses, it is the wife who protects the body from being smashed. The sex demand is inevitable for everyone, but one who has a fixed wife is saved from the onslaught of sense enemies. A man who possesses a good wife does not create a disturbance in the society by corrupting virgin girls. Without fixed wife, a man becomes debauchee of the first order and is nuisance in the society. Unless he is a trained brahmachari, vanpast or sannyasi, unless there is a rigid and systematic training of the brahmachari by expert spiritual master, unless the student is obedient, it is sure that the so-called brahmachari will fall prey to the attack of sex. And there are so many instances of fall down even for great yogis like Vishwamitra. A grasta is saved, however, because of his faithful wife. Sex life is the cause of material bondage, and therefore it is prohibited in 3 ashrams and is allowed only in grasta ashram. The grasta is responsible for producing first class brahmacharis, vanparas and sannyasis. Because they are producing, therefore they have to maintain. So one purport we have seen they maintain, other they produce. If the thieves occupy the fort is body, thieves are senses, they plunder the citizens. But how can they conquer the commander of the fort? The fort is material enjoyment, body, Prabhupada writes, which destroy fallen brahmacharis and others, but not householder. Why? Because householder do not create severe karma, since they regulate their enjoyment by rules of the scripture. So wife is a commander. Oh, this is other thought. It is the safest ashram from dharmic point of view, but the slowest for the advancement in spiritual life. CC instruction to Raghunath Das Goswami. Therefore, to progress, one must support the other 3 ashrams. It is the safest because wife protect one, but in other ashram there is a danger of indulgent in illicit sex. Next verse. Navayam pravastan tvam anokartum graheshwari apyayusha vakatsnena ye chanya guna gridhnavaha. O queen of the house, queen of the house, how can she be pacified? She become more aggressive. O queen of the wife, home, we are not able to act like you, nor could we repay you for what you have done, even if we worked for our entire life or even after death. To repay you is not possible, even for those who have admired our personal qualities. So much glorification of woman by her husband indicate that he is a henchpecked or is talking highly in joke or talking lightly in joke. So Chakravarti Path said it is like a joke. Kashyap meant that householder living with wives enjoy the heavenly blessing of sense gratification, sense enjoyment, and at the same time have no fear of going down to the hell. A man in the renounced order of life has no wife and may be driven by sex desire and seek another wife or another woman or wife and go to hell. In other words, the so-called man of renounced order who has left his house and wife goes to hell if he again desires sexual pleasure, knowingly or unknowingly. In that way, the householder are on the safe side of the safety. Therefore, husband as a class cannot repay their debts to woman, either in this life or in the next. Even if they engage themselves in repaying the woman throughout their whole life, it is still not possible. Not all husbands are as able to appreciate the good qualities of their wives. But even though one is able to appreciate these qualities, it is still not possible to repay the debts to the wife. Such extraordinary praises by husband for his wife are certainly in mode of joking. Chakravarti Pasa, taking shelter of his wife, the householder enjoy happily in this world and does not fall to the hell. Same thing. By using singular for woman and plural for man, he seems to be joking with her. Other statements. Such a statement can be made only in regard to Guru or Krishna. Otherwise, we are either flattering, attached, or just joking. We cannot repay to the spiritual master what he has done for us. Such statements can be made only in regard to Guru or Krishna. Otherwise, it is flattering, attached, or just joking. Verse 22. Even though it is not possible to repay you, I shall satisfy your sex desire immediately for the sake of begetting children. But you must wait for only a few seconds so that other may not reproach me, other may not criticize me. The henchback husband may not be able to repay his wife for all benefit that he has derived from her. But as for begetting children by fulfilling sexual desire, it is not at all difficult for any husband unless he is thoroughly impotent. This is a very easy task for a husband under normal condition. In spite of Kashyap's being very eager, he requested her to wait for a few seconds so that other might not reproach him. He explained his position as follows. So now these couple verses, 7 verses will glorify or say about Lord Shiva and his ghost followers. Though I cannot act like you, I should adequately fulfill your desire for producing a child. Then she said, quickly enter the bedroom, since I am suffering from the delay through lengthy conversation. He replies, wait for a proper time, so that other will not criticize me. 23. Esha Ghortama Vela. So from 23, till 30, this is about Lord Shiva. Ghoranam ghor darshana charati yasyam bhutani bhuteshanu charati ha. This particular time is most inauspicious because at this time horrible looking ghost and constant companion of Lord of the ghost are visible. Who is this Lord Shiva? So Kashyap has already told his wife Diti to wait for a while, and he wants her that failure to consider the particular time will result in punishment from the ghost and evil spirit who moved during this time along with their master Lord Rudra. Now Chakravarti Pad writes, Kashyap frightened her with censure about things of which she is unaware by describing Shiva in 7 verses. So in 7 verses from this, Shiva is described. This is the most horrible time among all horrible things, in which one can see horrible creatures like Bhuta and Pretas. And the horrible creatures are then described as moving about. Verse 24. Lord Shiva, the king of ghosts, sitting on the back of his bull carrier, travel at this time accompanied by ghosts who follow him for their welfare, for the welfare of the living entities and for the welfare of the ghost. Dear wife, during this twilight, Lord Shiva, emperor of the ghost, well-wisher of the living entities, travel about on his bull, surrounded by his ghost attendants. Lord Shiva, Rudra is king of the ghost. Ghostly character worship Lord Shiva to be gradually guided towards the path of self-realization. Now who worships Shiva? That is the Prabhupada's purport. Ghostly character. Mayavadi philosophers are mostly worshipper of Lord Shiva. Sripad Shankaracharya is considered to be the incarnation of Lord Shiva for preaching godless to the Mayavadi philosophers. Ghosts are bereft of a physical body because of their grievously sinful acts such as suicide. So there are 2 types of suicide. Last resort of ghostly character in human society is to take shelter of suicide, either material or spiritual. Material suicide causes loss of physical body, they become ghosts. And spiritual suicide causes loss of individual identity. Mayavadi philosophers desire to lose their individual identity and merge into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Lord Shiva, being very kind to all ghosts, see that although they are condemned, they get physical bodies. He places them into the womb of woman who indulge in sexual intercourse regardless of the restriction on time and circumstances. Kashyap wanted to impress this fact upon Diti so that she might wait for a while. I think our time, we have 5 minutes. Verse 25. Samasana chakara nila dholi dhomara vikarena vedayot jata kalapa bhasma vaguna guntha mala rukma deho devastri bhi pashyati devaste. There are 3 eyes of the Lord Shiva, that is a purport that he can see. Lord Shiva's body is reddish and he is unstained, but he is covered with ashes. His hair is dusty from the whirlwind dust of the burning crematorium. He is the younger brother of your husband, and he sees with 3 eyes. It means Lord Shiva, the Diti and her sister is Prasuti, and she is married to Daksha. So both they are brothers in one sense. Shiva, he is your brother-in-law. Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living entity. He is not a Vishnu, but he is higher than the Brahma. Since he is the most like Lord Vishnu, Shiva cannot see past. He can see past, present, and future. Trikala Drashi. One of his eyes is like the sun, other is like moon, and third is like fire. So remember the three eyes of the Shiva: sun, moon, and fire. So with the fiery eye, he can smash everybody, even powerful Brahma. Yet he does not live promptly. So he has so power, but he doesn't live pompously in nice house, nor does he possess any material properties. Although he is the master of material world, he lives mostly in crematorium, where dead bodies are burned, and the whirlwind dust of the crematorium the bodies dress. He is unstained by the material contamination. Kashyap took him as his younger brother because youngest sister of Diti, Kashyap's wife, was married to Lord Shiva. Sati married to Shiva. Husband of one sister is considered one's brother by that social relationship. Lord Shiva happened to be the younger brother of Kashyap. Kashyap wanted his wife that because Lord Shiva could see their sex indolence, the time was not appropriate. Diti might argue that they would enjoy sex life in private place, but Kashyap reminded her that Lord Shiva has three eyes called sun, moon, and fire, and one cannot escape his vigilance any more than one can escape Vishnu. Although seen by the police, a criminal is sometimes not immediately punished. The police wait for the proper time to apprehend him. The forbidden time for sexual intercourse would be noted by Lord Shiva, and Diti would meet with a proper punishment by giving birth to a child of ghostly character or godless impersonalist. Kashyap foresaw this, and thus he warned his wife Diti. Diti means one who breaks everything in pieces. That is the meaning of Diti. Diti means breaking everything in pieces. And Aditi means unite everything. He sees with three eyes. Because of this, he immediately bestows the result of offenses. But he is without relation to me, unknown. No, he is your brother-in-law. My brother-in-law should be treated as my brother. Thus, he is my brother. And your brother-in-law, should you not shy in front of him? Verse 26. Lord Shiva regards no one as relative, yet there is no one who is not connected with him. He does not regard anyone as his and very favorable or abominable. We respectfully worship the remnant of his foodstuff, and we vow to accept what is rejected by him. He has no relative, nor does he reject anyone. He does not worship or condemn anyone. Performing vows to fulfill our desire, we aspire for his food remnants, filled with his power, which are rejected by his feet. What is that? Don't expect favor from him, since he is your relative. He is impartial. So we end it here. You have any question or comment? We just leave it here.
Well, this thing is not clear. Rejected by his feet.
I don't know what is it. So we'll read the Sanskrit and see what actually Chakravarti Pad, why he has written this. This is the Chakravarti Pad's translation. So really speaking, we have to read the Sanskrit words and try to understand what it means.
And Piti, do we have any regulation that can we take prasad from Shiv Mandir or somewhere where Lord Shiva is worshipped. Can we take the prasad from there?
There are two opinions. One is that Shiva is the Param Vaishnava, Vaishnava Nam Yatha Sambhu. So since he is a Vaishnava, he has a one Vaishnava Sampradaya. And he is one of the Mahajans. So exactly if we get a prasad of Shiva, that is a Mahaprasad. He honored the prasad of the Supreme Lord. And one of the purpose, Srila Prabhupada writes that even Parvati, even Durga will not accept prasad without offering to the Supreme Lord because she is a devotee. But his ghost follower needs something flesh, so she is not interested in that. It is for the ghost. So the answer is, if as a Vaishnava, some sincere worshipper who is not materially motivated worship Lord Shiva, then that prasad can be honored. But usually the people who worship Lord Shiva for material desires, their prasad will not be accepted because their motive was not proper. So, like bhang prasad of the cannabis or the ganja, they should have, that is not for us. But see, in Nandagaon, anything which is first offered to Krishna is then offered to Nandeshwar Mahadev, and then it goes out as a prasad for all. So that is a proper prasad. Everybody can honor that prasad, which is coming from Krishna to to Nandeshwar Mahadev, and from Nandeshwar Mahadev to the public, because they only distribute after they give it to the Shiva. So like a Gopeshwar Mahadev in Vrindavan, if you go and yourself offer prasad there, even all Vaishnava go, so that prasad is acceptable by the devotees if they offer it. It's like we offer, sometime altar or clothes we offer to Prabhupada and then we honor prasad. In that way we offer the prasad to the Lord Shiva as a great Vaishnava, then honor, then it's okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, same as Bimala Devi offered the Jagannath Prasad.
Yes, she gets Jagannath Prasad and then we get Jagannath Prasad. Yeah. So same thing, only because most of the people, they are going to these powerful demigods for some personal desires. So their prasad we are not accepting because their desires are, may affect us, but they may not affect Lord Shiva, but they can affect us. But if a Vaishnava, like Jagannath Prasad to Vimla Devi, we can honor. We are honoring always. Prasad of the Nandagaon we can honor. Or there are some temples in which people have given the temple to ISKCON, in which already Shiva is there. So we worship Krishna and then we offer the same arti or some prasad to Shiva and then we distribute. I remember, traditionally in our Radha Krishna temple, in our family outside was a Hanuman. So after doing arti to Radha Krishna, we used to do arti to Hanuman and then we give it to the public. Like we take arti to the Prabhupada and then give to the public. Similarly, when we offer prasad to the deities, then to the Hanuman and then to the public. So that way is bona fide. But simply offering directly to all the demigods, they know they are Vaishnava. So they offer it to the Vishnu. So like if you give prasad to Hanuman, he will not eat, he is a devotee, he will offer to the Ram. But those who are going to these demigods or these powerful people, they have no good motive, therefore we don't want to mingle with them.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I had a question about Jigyasu and Jnani. When I contemplate, I think I'm more of a Jigyasu than a Jnani. So my question is more along the lines of how does one, so being a Jnani is better than being a Jigyasu.
No, for us, we are not Jnanis, we are Jigyasu and then devotee. So then we will use this word jigyasu in that verse. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya. So we are jigyasu in asking question because we want to know the absolute truth. And we want to serve him. It's not that we need to have a knowledge and then we publicize the knowledge and get the adoration. No. We inquire about the devotional service and Krishna conscious activities just to practice devotional service. So that inquestness with submission is most important.
Thank you.
So today we are 8. So yesterday Jay Keshav was absent.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. So here one Maharaj came and then today also the Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj Smriti Sabha was going on. So like that it
Jana,
in this way.
Bhakti Ashray Janardhan Maharaj is there, I heard.
No, Janardhan, yes, Bhakti Janardhan
Bhakti
Maharaj,
Ashray
he is staying
Janardhan.
in our house only.
Huh?
He is staying in our house.
Yeah, Bhakti Ashray Janardhan Maharaj, yes.
So he is here only. And Prabhuji, just one message from Saraswati Prabhu, and also I requested also that this, although it is not related to this forum, is a Wednesday is the Narasimha Chaturdashi. So if we want to, everybody here want to hear from you about the Narasimha Bhagvatam online.
I have tomorrow morning 8 to 9 Narsingha Katha for some group and 4 to 5 in the evening for somebody in his states. So I
No,
have,
in the Wednesday evening, UAE time, maybe 7:30. Maybe you will be late. I don't know where you are.
7:30 can be there possible.
No, but you are where you are at present?
Bombay, near Bombay.
Bombay. Oh, then India it will be 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. India is okay.
9 o'clock India time.
It's okay. Send me the link on that day.
Okay, then we can send the link.
Yeah, okay.